Welcome back to the Immigrant Experience with Nenelwa. I am Nenelwa Tomi, and I'm your host for this show, the Immigrant Experience with Nenelwa. As I mentioned prior, I am a Tanzanian-American, and more often than not, I find that as an East African, I'm in the minority within my African friend group. As a Tanzanian, I'm very proud of my country and my heritage, but sometimes I wonder who we're becoming as Tanzanians and if we'll ever truly find our identity. From my observations, as Tanzanians in the US and abroad, we're often caught up in trying to live up to other standards of who we think we should be, better yet, where they think we should be developmentally. But I'm not sure why we give power to those who are doing the telling. What makes them so right? What makes us so wrong or doubtful? Don't get me wrong, I love my Tanzanian forehead, the gap between my two front teeth, and the triple necklines that I'm often told are a rare African beauty mark, or maybe that's just something I was told one day to make me feel good. With that said, there is something about the West, and by West I'm referring to Western Africa, that I'm drawn to. I suppose it's cultural, the idea that in the wind, rain, and storm, I am forever representing, proud of, and empowered to be insert West African country here. There is something in the water, and I'm ready to swim in it. Despite similar issues that West Africans face, both domestically and at home, there seems to be a collective movement that they are spearheading, and I want to be a part of that movement. I want to be a part of the fufu pounding, Ankara wearing, philosophical movement that I yearn to be a part of, even from the outside looking in. The Immigrant Experience with Nenelwa is a weekly podcast about the African immigrants' experience in the United States. We'll be hearing great stories from immigrants of different nationalities, genders, marital statuses, professions, and experiences. Stories of strength, stories that inspire, stories that show us what obstacles to avoid, and how our guests have avoided or overcome them. These are ordinary men and women with extraordinary stories. Let's begin. Our guest on the show today is Seun Alao. He's from Nigeria and has lived in the US for 7 years. Seun is currently working as an IT professional and lives in Maryland. Like many African immigrants, Seun came to the US to find greener pastures, but has discovered that the road wasn't as easy as advertised. Seun, welcome to the Immigrant Experience with Nenelwa.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So we're going to start off just talking a bit about your background. Can you talk to us a bit about where home is for you?
So home is in Nigeria and Lagos to be precise, but although I'm from Kwara State, that's close to the northern side of Nigeria. That's where I'm from, but I lived most of my life in Lagos. And back in Lagos, I used to work IT. I've always been in the IT world. And also, I worked with the hotels and suits as one of the IT consultants. And basically, I think that's mostly my background, IT back in Nigeria.
Excellent. So with your IT background in the various places that you grew up in, more specifically Lagos, can you talk a bit about how that experience has shaped your worldview, specifically the location itself?
Well, Lagos is a fast-paced state. It's one of the states in Nigeria where everyone wants to go to. It's one of the states in Nigeria where most headquarters of the big companies are. It's one of the states in Nigeria where we have a lot of foreigners coming to work as expatriates. I work with a few of them too. So working there, you actually work with different people from different places. And you actually have an idea of what the outside world looks like, how people relate, what they do, because you're working with most of these guys at work. So that has really helped in shaping my interaction, especially with people from other places. And also in the professional world, sharing ideas, knowing more stuff. And basically that's it.
Excellent. So it sounds like you had a lot of exposure in those different capacities, specifically around your work. So can you talk about how that's helped you in your transition to the United States? What brought you to the U.S.? Because that sounds like you were exposed to some really wonderful things. So why would you want to leave that?
Yeah, so what brought me out here to the United States is actually to further my education. But that was the initial goal. In Nigeria, if you really want to get up there, or if you want to climb the ladder, then you want to get a degree from either the United States, the UK, somewhere in Europe. Because I don't know why, and I don't think it should be, but I don't know why they look at degrees from United States, the UK. I don't know why they look at it different from what we have in other universities in Nigeria, University of Lagos, Obafemi Awolowo University. I don't really see why they rate you more because you schooled outside Nigeria. But if you want to join them, you just want to be like them. You want to climb the ladder. That was what pushed me out here to come do my master's in finance, human resources too. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go travel to the United States to do my MBAs and come back to climb the ladder. So that was the whole idea.
So the idea was to also come back to Nigeria eventually.
Exactly. That was the initial idea.
Initial. And how did that change?
So that's a little story. We have time for it.
Oh, we have time. We have time.
So I came 2008 to California, La Sierra University to be precise. Master's in finance and human resources to go. Well, I've been in IT. I'm sure you'd be like, what's it doing in finance and human resources? You're in IT. Well, the whole idea was my goal has always been to be in a strategic position in an organization. Not general manager per se, but it could be related to what we call a general manager. A manager of all managers. A manager that can say something about every department in an organization. Every organization has a finance team. Every organization has an IT team. Every organization has an human resources team. And every organization has a marketing team. I have my master's in marketing. I have my master's in finance. I have my master's in HR. And I'm in IT.
Lots of masters.
So I know, but all this is just because looking at the situation in Nigeria, if you really want to climb the ladder, like I said, you have to be able to develop yourself. Developing yourself actually gets you on the ladder. So my idea, my goal for myself was to be in a strategic position and organization where I can relate with every manager in every department. So you IT, you can just come to me and say something about networking, cables and all that, and be like, "This is the price." I'm like, I know the price. I did IT too.
Right.
The marketing guys coming to me, I know what they're talking about. The HR people coming to me, I know what they're talking about. The finance people coming to me, I know so my whole idea, my goal was to actually be in a strategic position in an organization where I could relate to different departments. I came to the United States, achieved my master's in finance, master's in human resources, ready to go back. 2010, finished everything. My final project was to compare human resources in Nigeria and the United States. I went to some organizations in the United States to talk to the HR manager, see what HR is out here. And I went to Nigeria too to talk to some organizations, see what the HR is, and do my comparison as my final project. Shortly before I went to Nigeria, a family friend introduced this beautiful, lovely, gorgeous woman to me, who happens to be my wonderful wife today. And I'm sure you all will be like, okay, that is where it is. That is how the story goes. You meet someone and you're hooked. Well, I met her. I didn't meet her out here in the United States. We started talking, but we never actually met because I was in California. She was in New York, New Jersey, New York. So we didn't actually see one-on-one yet. We just got introduced, and we were like, I was like, okay, I'll be MIA, missing action for like a month because I'll be going to Nigeria to do my final project. And she was like, oops, she's going to be in Nigeria for a week to around that time. I'm like, great. Then I'll see you in Nigeria. And I went to Nigeria. She came to Nigeria, and she spent a week, and we met. Wonderful woman, great woman. We got talking, and she came back after a week. Well, she didn't want to come back because she met me.
Right.
We tried to delay.
As the story goes.
We tried to delay a flight, like we scheduled a flight, but we couldn't. So she came. We stayed in touch. So by the time I got back to California, it was a different ballgame now. The relationship started growing. We got to know each other more. But I was like, my plan was to go back to Nigeria. What's going on? And in life, there's some decisions you make that you just look at the bigger good. Because family, to me, is big. God, family, number one. And I'm like, if I could start a family here and everything works the way it should be, then why not? We got talking, and I realized at a very early stage that this is where I'm supposed to be. Not the United States. I'm supposed to be with this woman. I'm like, and she can't really say she's leaving the United States right now because she, although the parents are Nigerian, she was born out here, makes her a Nigerian-American, just like you're a Tanzanian-American. And she was doing her residency then, 2010. So there was no way I could say, okay, it would be so selfish of me to be like, okay, I'm going to Nigeria. You got to come with me and all this stuff. So she was there. She needed all the support. I stayed. And that was how my story changed. From coming to America to spend 2 years, I was looking forward to traveling back. Why? Because I was so sure when I get back to Nigeria, I was going to get promoted and get a good job and follow my dreams of being a strategic location. You know. So, but when she came into my life, she just changed it.
Completely, it sounds like.
Completely, and with prayers too. With prayers and the good personality she had. And like I said, I've never regretted it today. I'm glad I made that decision.
Definitely.
That's what changed my story.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing that story. Our audience members were curious. And now I'm curious. You spoke a bit about your wife being Nigerian-American or American-Nigerian, however she wants to phrase that. But how has that impacted your relationship? Because you were, I think, Nigerian first, then the American, because you were coming from...
I'm Nigerian.
Or Nigerian. Or that. Depending on which way you see it. Sure, Nigerian. So then how does that work? How do you stay compatible while there are different interests in mind in terms of just her exposure to certain things that maybe women cannot do based on her experiences here versus your expectations maybe of what a relationship should look like because of your experiences? How does that work? Because you guys are clearly making it work. So just for our audience members to have an idea, since some of us are struggling with similar issues.
That's an excellent question. I could say rather a great question. Because you hear a lot of American Nigerian girls or a lot of American girls saying, why are you behaving like an African man? I'm like, what is an African man? Oh, no, not asking me. I've heard them saying, oh, that guy's so African, or that guy's so Nigerian. It's just different background. The way we all grew up is different. The way ladies are treated from different places is just different. I think it should be a one-way thing in which you're supposed to do the right thing. When I say the right thing, is treat a woman like a woman. It should not be an African way of treating a woman, an American way of treating a woman, a Tanzanian way of treating a woman. You know, it should just be treat a woman like a woman. Respect, love, caring. Makes your life easy. Make that woman happy. You're going to get a smooth ride.
A smooth ride,
especially marriage, because a happy wife or a happy girlfriend for those dating is a happy home, is a happy relationship. There were differences, which my life, I don't take things personal. I always try to see your background, see your reasoning, see how you grew up. Then I don't judge you because you acted because of how you grew up or you behaved the way you used to. So I don't take it on you because that's what you're used to. You don't know better.
You don't know better.
Exactly. And there's some things I'm gonna do that you're gonna be like, they don't do that. But from where I'm coming from, Nigeria is what everybody does.
Right.
So it's just you guys just have to make you have to find the middle point.
Compromise.
Exactly. And someone else, like I said, treat a woman like a woman. Different food. I introduce you to my food we drink. Luckily, she's, like I said, she's Nigerian-American or American-Nigerian, whichever way we could play that. She has Nigerian parents. And our Nigerian parents are what? Strict parents. So she was trained by strict Nigerian parents. So she's like, the advantage I had was she's used to the Nigerian system already. At the same time, she's used to the American system. When I say Nigerian system, is the way I see people bring up their kids in Nigeria. With some parents in America, is actually different. The way they bring up their kids is different. Well, I was talking with my colleagues at work yesterday. My colleague is like 56 years old, a man. He said his son of 20 told him to shut up. I'm like, what? From where I come from, you don't tell your father to shut up.
Right.
Or he said, what can he do? Dude is an adult. I'm like, no, where I come
We're
from?
never that adult.
If you're 30, you tell your daddy to shut up. You're still my child. A typical, well, let me say, I won't say typical. I've heard Nigerian mothers say, I brought you to this world, I'll take you out of it.
Completely.
If you disrespect them. So to me, like, the whole idea is just being smart, being intelligent, to know how to treat the other person. Understand their background, understand where they're coming from, and be able to, like, stomach nonsense. That's really big. When I say stomach nonsense, there's some things they do, not because they really want to do it. It's just, damn, it's just think it's okay.
Stomach nonsense.
You know, you have to learn how to, like, stomach nonsense. It just makes your life easy, you know? So that was how we actually found a middle point to be where we are today. And no regrets. It's been fun. I learned from her. She learns from me. And yes, there are other instances of, like, flowers. Say you're giving flowers to a girl. It's not I won't say it shouldn't be any, let's say, like, country thing. Say American, Nigerian. It's just like you're expressing your care, your love by giving a woman a rose or a very good flower. I'm sorry if I'm going to throw my wife under the bus here, but you give my wife a flower.
Precursor.
You give my wife flower, she will say thank you, and she puts the flower on the dining table. That's where it's going to die. You understand? But I was still, it's an American thing, or you want to give an American girl a flower, she's going to love it. My wife is American. She really don't care.
Step that into it.
So it's like you just need to find what she likes, what she doesn't like. Introduce that to some of your own things that you are really used to. Since I'm Nigerian, and she's Nigerian-American. And like when she was in Nigeria that we met, she went to some places in Lagos, even in Ogun State, Ilishan to be precise, is the name of the city. I took her to places she's never been to. You know, like just show her the culture, the deep culture. Show her different things. She showed me different things here. And as long as that line of communication is open, is clear, and you guys have an effective communication, you're fine. And don't forget, the big thing is treat a woman like a woman. You're fine.
Wise words from a wise man. So to kind of branch off of this, thank you again for sharing those stories and your experiences. How has your relationship with your wife helped you in the assimilation process, or in the past tense when you were assimilating into the United States for what you thought were 2 years?
So the good thing is meeting her really helped, because there's some things I do, like I just say I go to a store, I try to like make the customer service agents laugh, like just throwing a joke and all that. And she cautioned me, she was like, most of these people won't say like a joke, they'll think you're flirting. But back in Nigeria, you could just throw in a joke, it's like casual to like talk and all that. And in Nigeria too, I could hold my friends by the hands and we're walking on the street hand in hand.
That is a cultural difference.
It's not a big deal. She told me, people think otherwise. So, and the way you relate to people too here is kind of different. You just want to mind your business. So it's like really working with art, like being with art. It had really helped in everywhere I've worked out here in the United States. and I share my experience. I work with her. She's able to advise. She shares her experience with me. I'm able to advise. And so being with her has really helped in my years here. It actually helped in my relation with everybody out here.
Excellent. So how have your first impressions about the United States changed over time? I'm sure you had some assumptions about what you thought the U.S. was going to look like or feel like or smell like, and then you got here and you might have been surprised. So can you talk a bit about that?
I didn't really think much about the United States growing up because as a kid, I was here. Maybe but I didn't know much then. I was a young kid. My parents schooled out here. My dad was here. My mom visited often. And I've been exposed to traveling to Europe, different countries in Europe, the UK. So it was like the United States. But I could talk about the general assumption of what the United States is, or what anywhere outside Nigeria, Europe, London, what it's like to a lot of people. Some people, I would say some people in Nigeria, because people are really getting exposed now. They believe the United States is somewhere you come and you just make it. You don't just make it. You have to work for it. The advantage I see out here in the United States is you just have opportunities. If you want to work, you have opportunities to work and make it. But back in Nigeria, people think, oh, you're in the United States, you're making it big. They believe there's money somewhere that you guys just go take and send. People call you back from Nigeria and be like, oh, I need a Mac Pro. I'm like, what? I don't even use that. I need an iPhone 6. I'm like, what? I'm still saving money to buy one for me. You know, people have this impression about the United States. Like you guys just get there, you just get it. And honestly, a lot of Nigerian people and other African people out here in the United States that travel back to the various countries in West Africa, they don't help too. They go back with different things. They paint a different picture out there, back in Nigeria, back in other countries. You think everything is rosy here. Trust me, people traveling to Nigeria or traveling back to wherever they're from, start saving from January. They save from January all the way to December. Start buying things from Ross, Target, and all these good places. I shop there too, it's no big deal. But I don't give no wrong impression.
Oh, goodness.
They start buying all these things, and by the time they're going back to Nigeria, it's like a lot of bags. People will be like, wow, you're really making it back in the United States. They're pushed, they really want to come. You know how many people are in the United States Embassy in Lagos? How many in the United States Embassy in Abuja? Abuja is the capital of Nigeria. It's a lot. Everybody wants to come to the United States. Honestly, if I have a way, I would love to work in Nigeria, come spend summer in the United States, and go back to Nigeria. Not because of anything, maybe because I'm just used to Nigeria life. Because life in the United States, for me, back in the days, is boring. Now it's more interesting because of a wife, my son, they have friends around. But when I was out here for my university in California, it was boring. Like, life in Nigeria is more interesting. I was looking forward to going back. Like, let me finish. I want to go. Maybe because I've been exposed to Europe and all that. It wasn't a big deal to me at all. I was just looking forward to going back. My dream has always been to visit the United States, spend like a week, two, go back to Nigeria, go back to work and all that. But I'm where I am today. I thank God for it. And I'm really happy about it too, because I'm so satisfied, especially with my marriage and my kid. So it's just people giving the wrong impression from the United States. My own impression back then was, I just want to go and come back home. So I try, like right now, I try to go back to Nigeria once every year, because most of my family are back in Nigeria, and go with my wife sometimes when she has the time. But overall, my experience about the United States was just, I went to school there. I just needed that degree to go back to Nigeria. And
a placeholder.
Exactly.
So can you talk a bit more about some of the challenges that you faced during that transitional process, especially when trying to fit in sometimes?
Challenges. Job search. Before I changed, my status changed. It was difficult. I'll take you back to California when I was in school.
Take us
because
back, take us
most
back.
times everything happens when you're in school. I'll take you back. 08, 09, 010 during my MBA program, we do what we call walk. What do we call it now? Well, you walk in school. You work in the university where that was last year.
Work study.
University. Yeah, work study. That's the word. Thank you. So work study, getting there, my first challenge was walking in Nigeria. I wake up in the morning like every other person, wear your shirt, you wear your suit, you're looking good to work. But I'm like, people don't really care about that out here. Well, depending on your profession out here, depending on your profession, but it's really not a big deal like that.
Especially in IT.
Especially in IT, Well, in IT, as a consultant, you still want to dress look good because you're meeting a lot of people, and especially working at a hotels and suits. That's like one of the best hotels, high-rated hotels in Lagos or in the whole of Nigeria. So you meet a lot of international stars coming in for shows, for programs. You actually, if they have IT issue with their computer, they call the IT team, which you're part of, and you have to relate to them. So you have to be presentable because your looks actually tells people treat you most times the way you look. Wear tattered jeans and a t-shirt, they'll treat you like that. Unless they know, okay, that's Bill Gates. It's okay. Whatever he's wearing is okay. But nobody knows you, and you want to look good, So my challenge coming to back in California was I couldn't get any job related to IT. I want to do IT. Although I'm doing my master's in HR and finance, there was no job in IT. I met some other Nigerians there. They were doing various jobs. Some were working in the kitchen. Some were working in the deep freezer in the kitchen. I would just throw him under the bus. Sunday Adebigbe, wherever he is, I'm sure he's doing very good now, though. We were all there back. Jane Amanze was
just
carrying a blower,
putting them on blast,
blowing leaves up and down the school. Aoma Onyebuchi. all these are guys that they were all skilled out of it. And I'm mentioning all these names. You're not asking me what I did.
What did you do?
I was a painter. I painted in the university. So we were there were all these jobs. At first I was like, I can't do this. No way am I doing this. So the simple calculation was this. I came in with a little money. And at some point I was like, this money is going down. I need to do something to
change that.
Change what? That. I thought I had money, but at some point you pay for Nigeria. Out in the United States, you pay for bill. You pay a lot of bills. And back in the university then, I paid I started with paying a few bills. I'm like, this money keeps going down, and I'm not making anything. As a finance major, you gotta be.
It's not a good equation.
It's not a good equation at all. So I'm like, you know what? There are people doing it. They don't have two heads. And nobody looks down on you out here. That's one very good thing. No matter your profession, people respect you for what you do. Plumber, carpenter, phone repair, nobody cares. They respect you. That's your job. That's your profession. So that was the first thing I realized here, that nobody's looking at you. What you're driving, where you live, nobody cares. They have after their own life. So I'm like, then why can't I just do whatever everyone is doing here? I went, but I still, with style, started looking for IT job, but I still couldn't find. Well, I had to jump on the paint crew wagon. It was fun. It was fun.
It was a learning experience,
At least
I'm sure.
I could paint very well now. That was I was doing my work study back in university for 2 years. I worked with a very wonderful boss. Dwayne is his name. Dwayne is a very wonderful boss. I'll say it again and again. He actually took his time to teach you what to do, how to do it. And I was so good at painting that when my boss had any job to do outside the school, he would call on me.
Wow.
And sometimes if he couldn't make it, I go do the work, paint people's houses. That was how good I was. So just in case you want to paint your house, viewers, you can call me.
You know who to call, people.
I'm just kidding. Now I do it for fun though. If I have friends saying they're painting their house, I go and actually we paint for fun now. So it was I had different people with different experiences. People work in the kitchen, and I had this friend. I'll try him on the boss again. Tunde Adebigbe. Hopefully you guys get to interview him. I'll try to talk to him. Hopefully you guys get to interview him. His story, like, I still laugh at the story. This guy is so good at cutting the fruit. So they serve the students in the university, and he's the one that actually cuts the fruit. He's so good at cutting the fruit that the president of the university came to the cafeteria one day and asked the chief chef in the cafeteria, what machine do you guys use to cut your fruit? The chef, very funny guy too. He said the president should hold on that he's coming back. He went to get Tunde. Adebigbe is his last name. He went to get him and brought him to the president. He said, "This is the machine."
Wow.
And other guys too, Benga, Sholademi, Kenny, a lot of other guys there. They were just really good at what they do. Uche now go Kili. They were good at what they do. Uche makes pizza, Benga makes the egg. Like a lot of people just doing a lot of stuff.
Right.
It was fun.
Right.
We had fun
like
doing
a family.
it. Because, well, if you're doing something like that back in Nigeria, people look down and you're like, oh, you're this bloody painter, you're this bloody chef. You walk in the freezer, you're talking to, but out there, people actually struggle to get jobs like that. Like even the American students, they wanted those jobs, but because we were there working it already, and Nigerians, I don't know, but most of the Nigerians I know, wherever we're working, we're always recognized because we put our best into it. We have some lazy ones, yeah, but most of the ones I know always put their best to it. You're so good at it that they want to take it to the next level.
Wow.
But you know why you're here, you know why you're in the United States, you know what you're looking to do, you know whatever job you're doing is only temporal, and it was just for the school part. And you did it, and we were fine with it back in the day. So that was like the initial struggle of trying to fit into the system. Why? Because of the background of how people look at me as a painter.
Social constructs.
Exactly. But luckily, going back to Nigeria, I went back with a few things I could buy. I told my friends, I'm painting in the United States. All this one you're saying you want a laptop, you want this, that. Don't think about it. Then the minimum wage was like $8 an hour.
Wow.
$8.50 after some time. Maybe they increased it to like $8.50 or something. But we scaled out of it. It's always a learning experience. People coming out here, initially I'm like, it just doesn't get rosy like that. Sometimes it does. You come out here, you get a good job, you're good to go, depending on your status too, because your status will really tells a lot too. A lot of companies are not going to employ you without a solid status. So by the time you get your status, you get a good job and you go. And some people stay years, they don't really do something really that makes them a lot of money, but they still work. They still put in their best in whatever they're doing.
Right.
So that's like one of my recommendations. You come out here, don't expect it to just jump to be a bed of roses. Most times it's not what they think it is out here. It's tight.
Definitely.
It's really, really, really tight.
Definitely.
So you have to be able to adapt here, understand what people are doing here, and put in your best at everything you do.
For sure. Thank you for sharing that story. So it sounds like you've had an evolution in terms of your job experience. How did you find the current job that you do now, and was that a difficult process? Because you talked about it being challenging earlier, but now that you're more settled, how is that experience for you?
So right now I work with Price in the Baltimore area. Price is an investment company. I do technical support for Price. I do desktop support. And getting that job took me less than a month.
Wow.
I relocated from Philadelphia to Maryland in September. And between September and December, we just moved. We just had a baby. My wife had to go back to work. I used to work with Comcast Business Services in Philadelphia. Getting that job too took me less than a month.
Wow.
So when we relocated, I had to be the stay-at-home daddy for this month. Why? Because I was traveling to Nigeria, my normal yearly travel to Nigeria in December. No organization was going to employ me between September, and I tell them I'm traveling for 2 weeks in December. It won't make sense. So the baby came in August, My wife had to go back to work in October. So I was privileged. I'm actually happy. I was the stay-at-home daddy with the son. But we actually saw this coming 2 years ago or a year ago. We started planning that, okay, when the baby comes, I'm still going to do my normal yearly Nigerian travel. When the baby comes, how we're going to do it. And what we're going to do, we started saving for that period of time in which either of us will not be working. So we were able to scale through that time. And like I said, prayer family is really big, prayerfully.
For sure.
We were able to scale through that time. And God bless my mother-in-law too. She's always with us. She lives with us now. We told her, Mommy, you got to retire. The baby, your grandson is here now. You got to move in. So Mommy stays with us. God bless her. Mrs. Janet Tukwadojo, trainer on the bus too. I'm sorry, Mommy, but you're wonderful. We really love you. So she came in with us and that was it. So getting the job really, like I said, is knowing your stuff out here and be able to defend what you know. Because when you get interviews, what they look out for is, number one, appearance is really big, but it's not really a big deal too sometimes. So the way you look, what you know, are you able to defend it? And most importantly, your confidence level. You want to say that confidence. And sometimes they're really excited to work with someone not from the United States. Why? Because they hear that accent and they'll be like, where are you from? Sometimes I'm tempted to be like, I be Niger. I be Niger means I'm Nigerian. But that's a pidgin English back in Nigeria. Say, I be Niger, original Niger. Because they hear that accent and they'll be like, where are you from?
So you've thought about it, you've never done it.
They'll be like, are you from Africa? I'm like, no, Africa is not a country.
There you go.
Africa is a continent.
There we go.
I'm from Nigeria, in the west part of Africa. Now, because that way it exposes them to a lot of stuff. So interviews, prayerfully too, hasn't been a big deal for me. And most times I go use recruiting firms. I always recommend that to a lot of my folks, a lot of my friends too. Recruiting firms out here, they are always ready to work with you. Your status is still big to me. It's really big. Your status has to be workable for them to work with you. So you go to recruiting firms and they're able to help you. So getting jobs, that's always not been too difficult.
That's helpful. So if you could give one piece of advice to the younger you that emigrated here 7 years ago, what would that one piece of advice be?
In whatever you do your best. And be honest when you're at any job.
Excellent, excellent. Well, Seun, thank you so much for coming on my show. This has truly been a laughable, really exciting, comedic discussion. We appreciate your thoughts and wish you the very best in your next steps. It's really been great having Seun on the show. If there's a guest you'd like us to interview or any questions you want asked on subsequent shows, or you just want to say hello or leave an encouraging word, please post them on the Immigrant Experience with Nenelwa page on Facebook. We have learned a lot today. We've had some really fantastic anecdotes that Seun shared with us. But again, remember a couple of things that he shared. Definitely be able to defend who you are and what it is that you know, because that's going to be what our employers are looking for. And remember that it's really, really important to remember as you're traveling abroad to visit family members that you in and of yourself are a gift, and you don't want to give the wrong impression by bringing so many things that you are in a different place than you actually are. So remember that and do your best, be your best, and treat a woman like a woman. Those are wise words from a wise man. That's our show for today. Special thanks to the creator and producer of this show, Adetoye Oremosu. The Immigrant Experience with Nenelwa is a weekly podcast, and I look forward to bringing you a brand new story with an inspiring and exciting guest next week. Until then, keep winning.